So when most people intentionally burn the flag, this is the energy that they have. So what are we really saying when we burn the American flag? This is Hey Brittany. Welcome back. So if you're not up to date on the current news, Trump just signed an executive order to make burning the American flag a crime, and people who are the perpetrators of this crime will get 1 year in jail. Now, there's been a lot of pushback on social media because of the First Amendment, where it protects symbolic speech. And there are two court cases that people have been pointing to as a reason to say that this is a clear violation of the First Amendment. So in the first case, this was a 1989 case, Texas versus Johnson. Johnson was convicted, I think, at the state level of committing a crime in relation to burning the American flag. And what they say about this case is that people were offended that he was burning the flag, but nobody was actually hurt. And this made it to the Supreme Court, and they basically ruled that we cannot punish this guy for burning the American flag because it is protected speech. They also passed the Flag Protection Act, which was meant to basically prohibit the burning of the American flag. However, this was struck down in relation to a 1990 case where someone else was charged of burning the American flag, and they ruled that this new law that they had just passed was actually unconstitutional, and you cannot be charged or convicted for burning the American flag. So why exactly is this executive order being passed? We've been seeing a lot of riots and protests recently that involve the burning of the American flag, and we've also been seeing situations where people burn the American flag and they're waving the flags of other countries. So to go back to the executive order regarding flag burning, this is really pointing to situations where the flag is being burned and at the same time state and local laws are being violated. So it's not necessarily that they're going after people who just burn the American flag, they're going after people who burn the American flag while committing other crimes. So in a general sense, this is what I understand to be the case around burning the American flag. You can burn a flag if it's your property. You can burn a flag if you're not endangering anyone else, but what happens if this leads to a riot or a fight? What happens if we burn the American flag in the middle of a already ongoing riot? And then the fire should be contained. So what happens if the fire gets out of your control, you can't put it out, and it becomes an even bigger problem? And then also, burning your own flag is okay, as I mentioned, but burning flags that belong to other people is not okay, because at that point, you are stealing their property and then destroying it. Okay, so now let's play a few clips of other people calling to make burning the American flag a crime.
It doesn't matter who burns or mutilates or tramples the flag, and it doesn't matter why. Under my proposal, it will be unlawful to do the flag harm, no ifs, ands, or buts.
So in that clip, that is President Biden talking about wanting to pass a law where you cannot burn the American flag. And he's basically saying you can't destroy the flag in any way. And the reason why you are doing this should not matter. This is a national symbol that unites people who are already divided for kind of just natural reasons, like different races, different religion, different age groups, different social statuses. This is the one thing that unites us all, and we cannot destroy that, because otherwise what actually unites us as a people. Now I want to play another clip from Hillary Clinton.
So I hope, Mr. President, that we can pass a law that criminalizes flag burning and desecration. I agree that this burning, this desecration that can happen to our flag is something that people have a right to ask this body to try to prohibit and prevent.
So that was a clip of Hillary Clinton making a plea to then President Bush Jr. and basically saying, hey, we need to make this a law. You should not be able to destroy the American flag. And so I really like that in both situations, they're basically advocating for preserving the national symbol of America and wanting to focus on respecting the flag and what America stands for. So that leads me to my next question. Should you really be burning things that you actually value? So I feel like this is a moral dilemma. If you really value something, you wouldn't do anything that actually shows that you don't value it, or that lessens your respect of something. So if you are a proud American, you shouldn't be burning the American flag. And I understand that people are really doing this because they are protesting either the current president, the current administration, or the current social climate of America. But that flag doesn't just represent Trump or the Trump administration. It represents all of America as a whole. It represents all of the people who have come before us to make America what it is today. Just because there is the First Amendment that protects speech, I don't think that that means that you actually should burn the flag. I think it is super important to retain our rights as American citizens. We should have more rights, not less. However, people should find other ways to protest what is actually happened in one given moment in time versus protesting America as a whole. To put this into perspective, we do have the Second Amendment that gives us the right to bear arms. However, how many Americans do not own guns? We don't actually have to own guns. That right still exists whether or not we actually have guns in our home. In relation to burning the flag, you should be able to burn the flag simply just because that is a right that you have, but that doesn't actually mean that you need to go out and burn the American flag. So in an ideal world, burning the flag should still be a protected form of speech. However, people should find other ways to protest the American government or the current administration. I personally am not someone who goes out and burns stuff when I'm frustrated or upset. I would find other ways to protest what is going on, especially if I don't want to violate any state or local laws that would land me in legal trouble. Now, there are some people who do not mind getting in any type of legal trouble. They are willing to go the distance to protest or stand up for what they believe is right, and I absolutely give those people a lot of kudos and respect, but I also think that there is a balance. You can retain your rights to do something without actually participating in that behavior. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.